So Mother Nature threw us a curveball with this late April snow, but we thought on this Earth Day, let's give back and let's do some educating, because there's so many things that we can't be doing, like big gatherings for Earth Day, which normally happen. So happy to be joined by Laurie Nielson from Smart Recycle here in Hamilton to help us do some educating on recycling, reusing, reducing. But let's kind of recap Earth Day as a whole and like how things have changed the past couple of years during COVID. We can't do the big gatherings.
Yeah. So Earth Day itself started in the U.S. after a large oil spill off the coast of California in 1970. And then by another 20 years later, it had grown so much. There were 141 countries, billions of people involved, and it's just, and so many regulations have come into place since that date as well. In Canada, the CPA, the Canadian Environmental Protection Act, came in 1988. It's been revised since then, and it's always undergoing changes.
Normally, like, how big of events do you organize for Earth Day?
Well, 2019, we had 350 people come up for one out at the Waterfront Trail on the East End, and beautiful weather. That was certainly a factor in it. Just like today, yeah.
So we can't be doing those big events.
No.
And kids aren't in school, because I remember growing up as a kid, right? In school, Earth Day was a big day. You get out and you pick up some garbage and you learn a little bit more about Earth and how you can help out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do today, because it's confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
We want to help out when it comes to recycling, but there's certain things that we can't recycle or we shouldn't be recycling that we are doing. Yeah. Where are we in our world right now? Like, how is Earth doing? It does need help?
Major help. We have Greta Thunberg has made that very clear that our house is on fire and we need to put the fire out. So we have to do something about this. We don't have time to waste on. There's no planet B, as she says.
What does Greta do, being a young individual? What does her voice mean?
She's really motivating young people, but she's also motivating. I'm not a young person.
Come on, Laurie, you're a young whippersnapper.
No, but she's really gotten big crowds out, huge crowds out. Even out in provinces where they're relying heavily on the fossil fuels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart Recycle is your company
Yes.
here in Hamilton.
Yeah.
What type of things do you guys do?
So I help small businesses understand what's recyclable, what's not, because there is a lot of confusion. When I look at my neighbors' blue boxes, there's certainly a lot of confusion as to what can go in there. And there are just so many materials out there. A lot of them are combined, so it's plastic and paper together. Yeah. And I can also help them save money if they're spending so much on garbage, when a lot of it could be recycled.
We have a few of the examples that you brought out, so let's take a break, and we want to get into the recycling thing, because that is something that everybody does do, but it is confusing at times. So we'll go through a few of the different products. Okay. The two other R's are something that we don't do as much. They're kind of the forgotten ones, the reuse and the reduce.
Yes.
We'll be recapping all of those to help you out on this Earth Day 2021 on Morning Live. It's for the second straight year, we're not able to hold big Earth Day events like normally happen, specifically with schools. But there's still a way to give back, and it's kind of just educating a little bit. And that's what we're doing with Laurie Nielson from Smart Recycle here in Hamilton. And we say recycle, so let's start with recycle, because that's one of the R's, and that's the one that a lot of people do try and do.
Yes.
But it's
not necessarily correctly, but yes, they do try.
Because it's confusing.
It is.
There's so many products of what you can recycle and what you can't.
And I find the city's not always good at getting the message out to everyone.
And it varies from city to city.
Yeah. Oh, that's the problem, yes.
Okay. So you have a few items. What are some of these items, or what are some of the main ones that you come across that shouldn't be recycled?
That'll be the black plastics, and the reason they're not accepted, there's such a small market for black plastics. Because it can only be made into new black plastics. The other colors are more versatile. Okay. But this is not.
That is so. And what happens if you do put that in the recycle bin?
It ends up getting sorted out and sent to the landfill. So we're paying sorters to sort out what we should not have put in there in the first place.
Okay. Coffee mugs.
Coffee cups?
Coffee cups.
Yeah, sorry. They should be going into the green bin, because the city wants them in there. A lot of times
In the
people are
city of
really
Hamilton,
cheap.
you could put those in the
Yes,
green bin.
in Hamilton, yes.
And because what's on that? Because it's not.
Well, there's a plastic lining, which does bother me.
Right.
But anyway, sometimes the tea bags are still in there. It might be a bit of coffee, and so that should be going into the green bin.
That goes in
Yeah.
the green bin. Styrofoam.
Styrofoam,
Okay.
not accepted. As of 2018, the black plastic and the styrofoam, they stopped collecting that.
Okay, so styrofoam's no good. What about like this? So this is
looks like
tinfoil.
foil,
It looks like tinfoil,
But
right?
it's off the top of a yogurt. It doesn't rip. So you know it's not recycled. A normal foil that comes off the roll, that will rip.
That's
easily.
fine.
That
Okay.
always rips when you don't want it to rip.
Yeah. Right. Anything like this
Yeah.
would go. This ends up in the recycling bin sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's garbage.
And the cutlery.
This type of cutlery
Yeah.
here.
And
Like that.
straws. And
Okay, straws.
So see lids, the coffee cup lids, they took those off as well because they don't want anything smaller than the palm of your hand because it's just too hard to sort that out from the stream.
This ends up in the recyclable bin.
Lots of that.
Really, eh?
So also the ones that the grapes come in and anything like that.
You look at this and you think
See, that
that's
as well.
paper. That's paper.
Yeah.
That's recyclable.
Yeah.
This is
But it
not.
has
Why?
bubble wrap, and they definitely don't take bubble wrap in the recycling.
So no bubble wrap. So this has to go in the garbage unless you. Could you peel that off? That's a bit of work to be doing all of that, right?
Yeah.
You still have it on the other
Most people are
side.
not going to bother with that.
Okay.
These are from those meal boxes.
Right.
If you peel off that, and that should happen easily enough, then you can recycle. But then you can't really, yeah.
You can't really rip that.
No, and it'll be hard to get off that bit there as well.
So this has to go. This has to go in the garbage.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, there's so many different things.
I
Is
know.
there any where can we go to know what can be recycled and what can't?
The city has their website.
Right.
And on there, there's what goes where.
Okay.
But there's also an app for the phone, and it's a recycle coach, and that gives the same information.
Okay. Because a lot of the time, if you're putting it in the recycling bin and it can't be recycled, it gets contaminated and it all has to go in the garbage, right? And then
Yeah.
it all goes
Oh.
to the landfill.
I was asked the other day why we don't have more recycling on the streets.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, because people just use them interchangeably. I've done parks audits where you look inside, you can't tell the difference between the garbage and the recycling because
Yeah.
people are just throwing.
Okay.
They may do an all right job at home, but apparently that skill disappears when they go out in public.
Okay. Recycling down. Let's get into the other two that aren't used as much.
Okay.
Reuse, reduce. And we want to talk about another great organization. Laurie's with the Smart Recycle, but Green Ventures here in Hamilton. We'll get to that when we come back on this Earth Day on Morning Live. We're trying to do some educating with you, something like what might happen in schools and should be happening in schools, even virtual, just to get the kids up and aware of the 3 R's. Those 3 R's are recycle, reuse, reduce. Back here with Laurie Nielson.
But it's opposite.
Opposite. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes.
Why do the first two we don't use as much?
They require more effort, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to tackle? Reuse.
Let's do reuse.
Okay.
So I
here's a few
have-
examples of reusing.
I have a travel mug, and that stays in my car, so I have it with me. I have no excuse.
So you're putting coffee in that, you're putting
Yep,
water in
that's
that,
right.
you're putting
Yeah.
anything in that.
Most places are not taking it. There is one coffee shop in Toronto where they won't touch your cup. They just
Right.
pour the coffee right in there.
Quickly on that, what has the pandemic done when it comes to reusing things?
It's
and
really,
as far as our waste goes.
the reuse for the most part has really gone down. Bulk Barn had introduced a couple years ago a reuse program where you could bring in your own containers they would weigh them, and then you could put your stuff in, and then they would weigh it again when you checked out. But they had to put that on hold because they're concerned about contamination
Yeah.
outside.
Well, it's the same thing with
Yeah.
your reusable bags at
Yeah.
grocery stores. Now, most grocery stores you're allowing these back, right? But
Yeah.
for the longest time, it was
Exactly.
plastic
Yeah.
bags,
Some
right?
stores were more particular than others, I found. Yeah.
Yeah. What's a good reminder? Because a lot of the time, it's keeping these bags in your car, right?
I have a pocket on the side of my car where I have these lined up, and I keep it with my purse.
Right.
Yeah.
Take them in the house, empty them out,
Yeah.
bring them back out
Yeah.
to the car. So
Yeah.
then they're always in the car.
Yeah. You just have to make that habit.
Yeah, it's all about habits.
Yes, it is.
Right. What are some other things here,
So
Laurie?
I have a reusable straw. I also have steel ones at home. And not that I use a straw all the time, but it is at home. I find I drink more water if I drink through the straw.
By just using that straw.
But the cutlery is certainly something good to have rather than having all the disposable cutlery.
Well,
and
see,
a lot of times
we just went through this. We went through this last time, right?
A lot of times when
this is not recyclable. This is trash. This is garbage.
Yep.
Right. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. The takeout, they're automatically putting plastic cutlery in your bag right now, and you have to remember to say no cutlery, please. Yeah.
Just simple reminders, right?
So that's just something for leftovers that I can take into a restaurant.
Oh, and you can open that up and they throw that in there. Oh,
Yeah.
Nice little bowl.
Yeah.
So any of this type of thing, right? If one person's doing it, it multiplies,
Exactly.
right?
And I have seen a couple of other people at the bulk barn with their containers. Yes. But really, it's just showing other people how it's done and think, oh, that's a good idea. I can do that too.
So, recycle, check. Reuse, check. Reduce.
Reduce.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get into how you can reduce waste to help our beautiful planet on this Earth Day on Morning Live. Well, it's been a great morning out here with Mother Nature. And I think that's even an important thing to do on this Earth Day, is to get out and just celebrate our world and enjoy it. But we have to do a little bit of work and give back to help her out. And that's why we have Laurie Nielson, just some good little tips all morning long about how we can give back. Normally we have big events, gatherings and picking up garbage and helping our Earth. We can't be doing that because of the pandemic, but we can be doing little things.
Yeah.
And we talked about the recycling and we didn't mention wish cycling. What is wish cycling, Laurie?
Wish cycling is when you put something in the blue box hoping that it will get recycled. But if the city doesn't want it, it just ends up having to be sorted out and sent to the landfill.
And you never know.
No.
It's not up to you. You just throw it in there and just hope that they're going to take it.
Yeah.
And we're privileged in this world that they just do take it.
But we have a lot of stuff that they don't take in the blue box, they will take at the community recycling centers. And we have 3 of those at this time. I've heard that they're going to be open a 4th. I'm not sure when or where it's going to be, but they are well used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. We talked about reusing. It's you reusing your mugs, reusing your bags, reusing your utensils, straws. The other R is reducing.
Yeah.
Okay. How can we reduce?
It's going to be a lifestyle change. So really thinking about what you're buying, looking for less packaging. So if you can shop at a store that has where you can refill up your own containers, so bulk barn, but also there are stores in Hamilton. We have Mrs. Greenway in Dundas, Pale Blue Dot on James, Glass Refillery up in Concession, and Greener Place up in Waterdown. You can bring your own containers in there and get it refilled, not for food, but for personal care products, cleaning products.
Because anything that we're putting at the end of our driveway, that's waste.
It is.
Right?
It's not just, even if it's recycled or composted, it's still waste.
It's still taking energy for them to get that out of there.
Yeah.
You're down a lot till, you zero waste? Like how much waste are you using?
No, I think there are some people that are zero waste. They have even less than, I have a few kilograms of garbage a year.
It does take effort.
It does.
Right?
And Zero Waste Chef puts it so well. We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We just need 1 million people doing it imperfectly. Yeah. So really just taking the effort to do it.
Green Venture in Hamilton.
Yes.
What do they do?
They have a lot of programs, a lot for kids, educational type programs. And right now, until the end of the month, they are arranging litter cleanup. So you can go there and get a bag and gloves, and they'll have a training video for you as well. You just have to go to their website.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen.
That'll be great. I told them you'd do that.
Yeah.
So we can still get out even though we can't do the big cleanup.
It's just more, maybe not in group settings, but individually we can do it together.
Individuals can do it for sure.
As household, because every little bit does
Once
count.
the snow melts, then it'll be perfect.
Well, it will be probably gone by this afternoon, to be honest. It's going to be like 17 tomorrow. Oh, we got garbage everywhere. We got to do some work here because our garbage is blowing away. Listen, happy Earth Day.
Okay.
Thanks for all the work that you do. Thanks for all the great advice today.
Okay.
And let's be kind to our planet because we only have one.
Okay.